Hi! If you as a foreign entrepreneur plan to conduct business directly in mainland China, the best option for you is to get set up a wholly foreign-owned enterprise. This business vehicle will let you be closer to your Chinese business partners or your suppliers or your customers in China. You can hire local staff, take care of import and export formalities in China, making working visa for your foreign staff, etc. If you incorporate your company in the form of wholly foreign-owned enterprise and not joint venture enterprise, you will not need to depend on your Chinese business partner, and you can independently manage your company business affairs and your bank account in China. It also gives you many more possibilities in comparison with the representative office in China, which usually cannot directly make any commercial activities here. Our company has provided company registration services for foreigners in China for more than 20 years. Also, we provide accounting services, working visa, and trademark services here. Pros and cons of registering a company in mainland China. Pros: legalization of business activity in China, which gives you the ability to legally pursue an independent commercial activity inside of China. For example, make a direct importing and exporting in China, the ability to carry out customs procedures independently, to process directly import and export documents in China on behalf of a Chinese company. Or make a direct business in local market, which gives you the ability to conduct trading transactions, purchase, sales of goods, produce goods, provide services and other business activities directly in local market of China. VAT refund in China gives you the ability to refund incoming value-added tax after exporting goods from China. Officially hiring local staff, the ability to legally hire local staff, pay social insurance to them. Make work and residence permits for foreign employees, the ability to make working visas, which is work permits and residence permits for foreign employees and their families, for their work and living in China. And develop business infrastructure. Develop transport, finance, industrial infrastructure in China. Cons: taxes. Although VAT is exempt for export trading activities, there is still corporate income tax, but in many situations there are lower tax rates available. Individual income tax and mandatory social insurance. Accounting. The company has to maintain accounting records, pass an annual audit and annual checkup. Customs and foreign currency control. Here it is comparatively strict foreign currency exchange control and customs control. Registered capital. There is a requirement for an actual transfer of the amount of registered capital from the foreign bank account of the founder to the special registered capital account of the wholly foreign-owned enterprise over 5 years since the date of registration. The company can then transfer these funds to the current account of a Chinese company and use them in the course of economic activity, like purchase of goods, payment of rent, salaries, and so forth. Requirements for formation of wholly foreign-owned enterprise. Prior to the process of formation of Chinese company, you need to fulfill following requirements: to provide documents of the founder and future legal representative of Chinese company, and also to rent an office here. List of documents you need to prepare before starting a registration process. First, documents from the founder and legal representative. For foreign citizens as individuals, it is passport. For Chinese citizens, it is national ID. And for legal entities, those are business license or similar corporate registration certificate and other significant corporate documents confirming details of the legal entity, containing information about directors, founders, address, registered capital, renewal of annual license if applicable. For information, a founder can be a legal entity or an individual, but a legal representative should be an individual. Please note, passports of foreign citizens can be provided in original in personal presence in registration authority. In this case, no apostille is required. But if those individuals cannot visit registration authority in China or if it is a legal entity founder, in this case, the documents should be translated in Chinese and apostilled in the country of issue. Personal presence of the legal representative will be needed later anyway. For example, in bank, but presence of founder often is not needed if apostille documents are provided. Also, I'd like to mention that usually there is no mandatory requirement of participation of Chinese citizens as co-founders or legal representative, so you can make it by yourself. Second, documents regarding rent of office premises. Office rent agreement in China with the rent period for not less than 1 year. And copy of landlord documents. Certificate of ownership of office premises. If it is an individual, so identity card. If it is a legal entity, business license and identity card of legal representative of that legal entity. Please note, before the company registration process, the office should be rented in the name of an individual. Usually it is the future legal representative. After the registration of the company, the premises rent agreement should be reassigned to the name of the company. Also, please note, the purpose of the premises should be relevant to the business activity of company. For example, if you plan to make a trading business, so the purpose of the premises should be office. If it's a manufacturing, so it should be manufacturing. For training courses, commercial. Premises with a live-in purpose are not suitable for registration in a company. Also good to mention that virtual addresses and co-working spaces are not quite suitable for registration. Sometimes there can be some problems with the registration process or with the bank account opening, so we don't recommend it. And the space of the premises should not be too small. Usually 30 to 50 square meters are enough. China company registration process. The registration procedure begins with the registration of a name of a company in Chinese in the electronic system of Administration of Industry and Commerce of China. The name of Chinese company consists of 4 parts. The first, the name of city or province where the company is situated. The second, a unique trade name. The third part is the main business activity, for example, trading. The last part of the name is organization form, for example, limited. Also, a company name in English can be provided which should correlate to Chinese name. It will be reflected on the company stamps along with the name in Chinese and will be registered in a bank. If you cannot provide the name in Chinese, we can translate it to you based on your English version of it. At this stage, the company should provide information about the scope of business, list of business activities, categories of goods, services intended to be carried out by the company, the amount of registered capital, a list of the founders and their percentage of ownership, the address of the office where the company will be registered. After this, registration company goes to the stage where the business license is issued by the Administration of Industry and Commerce in China. When you already have a business license, the registration of a company in China proceeds to the next stage, production of stamps. Main stamp of the company, legal representative stamp, financial stamp, invoice stamp, with following registration of the stamps with the police. Please note, usually the whole set of stamps is given for free after a business license issued by the Administration of Industry and Commerce, but without the name of the company in English. So, to add the English name for your convenience, the part of the set should be remade again. Next step, registration of the company with the tax authorities, where also verification of the legal representative and employee responsible for finances of the company should be conducted. If the company intends to carry out export and import activities, then it is obliged to apply for registration in the State Administration of Foreign Exchange. Also, a company which intends to carry out import and export activities should register with the customs, where registration of the electronic port of customs also should be conducted. Next step, opening of bank accounts. Usually this step includes the opening of a basic account, current account, which means common account. For example, it's a foreign currency account to receive payment for your exported goods, and a registered capital account. The personal presence of a legal representative of a Chinese company on this stage is required. Usually, before bank account opening, bank officers come to the office of the company to check it. In case of some special business activities like the sales of food products or dangerous chemical products, the obtaining of additional special licenses is required. China Company Registered Capital. Unlike some companies like in Hong Kong, in mainland China there is a requirement of actual payment of registered capital. According to the new regulations, it should be paid during 5 years from the date of registration. In case of wholly foreign-owned enterprise, it should be paid from the founder's account in a foreign bank to the account of the registered capital of the Chinese company. The purpose of the payment should be payment of registered capital. The amount of registered capital of any Chinese company starts from about 100,000 yuan for a trading company, and it can be a bit less for a service company. Basically, the amount should be considered to be enough to maintain the company before it starts to earn enough to maintain itself. For example, you can calculate for 1 year, 12 months of office rent, utility expenses, salaries, transport fees, communication fees. For trading companies, it is initial goods purchase amount, etc. Registered capital can be paid in any parts, anytime during 5 years from the date of registration. There is no requirement to freeze any part on your bank account. You can freely use them in the course of commercial activity. Terms of company registration in China. The time of registration of company in China now greatly reduced, and now it takes about 1.5 months to finish all the necessary procedures, in comparison of 4 to 6 months, which was before. This period includes all procedures, including opening of bank accounts. Additional licenses for special business activities are not included. Cost of Chinese company registration service. Price for company registration service in our company in Guangzhou city is 9,500 yuan. Apostille procedures, additional licenses for special business activities, accounting and visa services are not included. Other costs connected to the registration of a Chinese company are: first, office rent. A company in China should always rent or own a real office. Let's describe the situation in Guangzhou. There are two main types of office premises here: just offices and double-use apartments, around 30 to 50 square meters on average. According to documents, this type of double-use apartments are considered as offices. Usually, this kind of apartments are cheaper, starting from about 2,500 yuan per month. In this example, this office is not in downtown, but about 30 minutes away by subway. Please note, at the time of signing a rent agreement, the deposit should be paid to the landlord. Usually in Guangzhou, it equals to 2 months' rent. It is refundable if the agreement is not broken before the end of the specified terms, which is at least 1 year. Also, a commission for real estate agent is usually paid at the time, about 50% of month's rent. Apostillization of documents. Usually, those individuals who cannot come to China in the moment of the registration of the company, they just can provide apostille documents. Or if the founder is a legal entity, so the apostille documents are necessary. Chinese company maintenance expenses. Office rent, about 2,000 to 2,500 per month for a small apartment office, not in the downtown. Other expenses connected to the office rent. Utility fees like water, electricity, and management fee around 300–400 RMB. Rent tax around 8% of rent amount if a landlord will pass this expense to you. It often happens in Guangzhou if the landlord is an individual. Accounting and tax service fees. A company in China should maintain accounting records and file quarterly and monthly tax reports to tax authorities. Usually small and medium-scale companies don't hire an accountant, but use outsourcing services of accounting companies instead. We also provide such accounting services. In our company, the price starts from 1,000 yuan per month. In case you're planning to make a working visa in China for a foreign employee of a Chinese company, usually the director or other administrative personnel, hiring local staff, Chinese citizens, and paying corporate taxes is strongly recommended. These two criteria are important for a successful application and prolongation of a foreign employee's working visa. So, below are expenses connected to working visa. First, visa services. In our company, the visa services fee is about 6,000 yuan per person at the first-time application. And for prolongation, usually once a year or once in several years, it's about 4,000 yuan per person. If you hire local staff, the salary starts from 5,000, 6,000 yuan per month plus mandatory social insurance of about 2,000 yuan per month. Also, personal income tax should be paid for employees, but the amount of 5,000 yuan of salary is deductible each month, so only an amount about this sum is taxable. For example, if salary is 6,000 yuan, in this case, personal income tax will be around 30 yuan per month. And if it is 12,000 yuan, in that case, the sum of personal income tax will be around 500 to 600 per month. In the beginning of the year, the sum will be less, and in the end of the year, it will be greater. Corporate taxes. The amount of taxes depends on income and turnover. Please note that not to pay corporate taxes at all is not a good sign in the eyes of Chinese tax or immigration authorities. Usually the payment at least several hundreds of RMB, 800 yuan and more per month is recommended. Actual sum depends on real income and turnover. The last two typical company expenses is annual audit reports and annual checkup. The price of two annual audit reports usually can be around 3,500 once a year, and the service fee for an arrangement of annual checkup by tax authority and registration authority in our company is 1,500 yuan once a year. So, to sum it up, the expenses in US dollars roughly be, at the stage of registration of Chinese company, roughly 2,500 US dollars to 3,000 US dollars, including office rent fee plus deposit, refundable, but still, plus realty estate agent fee, so at 1,000 to 1,500 altogether. Company registration service fee around 1,300 US dollars. Apostille fee, if needed, around 200,000 per document. If you plan to make working visa in China, the cost in the first year will be roughly 1,000 to 1,500 US dollars, including visa service fee, apostille fee, and other fees. An annual company maintenance fee will be, again, roughly 12,000 to 15,000 US dollars per year for small size enterprise, plus about 1,000 US dollars per year if you make working visa. Those amounts are just for roughly estimation of your expenses. Your real actual sums will depend on your income, turnover, the size and place of your office, quantity of your employees, their salaries, etc. If you have any questions regarding this topic, you can contact us by email, WhatsApp or Wechat. Please see our contact information on our website www.chinaorienter.com or below in the description to this video. If you're interested in practical and useful information on this topic of foreign business in China, please subscribe our channel, put a like on this video, leave your comment or question in the section below. See you in the next videos. Bye!